What is up, everybody? How you doing on this not Monday or no, not Sunday evening, morning? I don't know, whatever. On our play for this week, PlayStation 5 Pro has finally been announced. Now that the outrage has settled, is it worth the money or will you wait for the PS6? This rumor has the official name and price for the Nintendo Switch 2. Can you afford it? Hmm. We played and beat Astrobot. Was the journey through the PlayStation Earth worth it? We'll decide. And then you can decide if you should jump in too. All this and more on season 8, episode 37 of Press X to Start Gamers Digest. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka. So I got a text message from my wife, Shireen. Uh, and apparently we are raising an Australian daughter somehow because she just told me London just said 2 straight sentences in an Australian accent. That is thanks to Bluey.
I was about to say
Exclusively
too
thanks
much
to
Bluey,
Bluey.
huh?
Yep.
It could be worse. She could sound like Blippy.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That would drive me crazy, and I would hate that. I am joined by
Sean M.F. Ross,
what does the MNF stand for?
not an Australian.
The F is silent. All right, now you know who we are. Press X Start Gamers Digest is a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We're live on YouTube every Sunday. Sometimes it's Monday, like today. When we can make it because life is hard.
But listening to us is easy.
Yes, it is. Don't forget you can support us by liking this video and the video that you watch after this, if it's our video. Subscribing to this channel, and clicking on the notification bell. If you do those 3 things, you greatly help us, and we greatly appreciate that. If you are listening and you're not watching this, we suggest that you watch this as well because that would help us greatly. But yes, leave us a review on whatever podcast service you're currently using. It could be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, I think, if that's still going on, Stitcher, whatever you're using. And if you want, you can join our conversation by joining our Discord at pressxnumber2start.com/Discord. With that out the way, let us jump into the gaming news. Number 1. So, PlayStation has finally released the PlayStation 5. They announced the PlayStation 5 Pro, and they gave us their big 3, the marketing term that they're using to basically, tell you why you want to buy this console. And then they
Boy,
gave us the price.
I can't wait for Kendrick Lamar's response.
Right? You want a PS2 PlayStation?
This shit big
So
three.
yeah. And of course, the internet reacted in a way that is only befitting of the internet. But before we get into the internet's reaction, Sean, what was your reaction and I guess take to the PS5 Pro?
While it is hella expensive, um, I understand the outrage to a degree.
Yeah.
Um, However, everything isn't for everybody. So while I understand the outrage, vote with your dollars and just don't buy it. Like, there are some people who want it. That's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, if you wanted the best value for your dollar in gaming, just get an Xbox and get Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the equivalent of Nvidia RTX 4090 versus a 4060 or whatever. Like, I'm even seeing industry people saying, I mean, yeah, it's expensive, but I mean, if you bought a PC for a similar price, you wouldn't be getting that performance.
Exactly.
And this is no different than having to choose frame rate over resolution if you're getting an equivalent video card for your computer. So, I mean, you're still allowed to play your base PS5. This isn't a case of like Apple with their iPhones where they make you feel like the thing you bought last year is a piece of shit and you
It
need a
was
new thing.
inferior.
Like
Yep.
it's it's fine. I was thinking about getting it, but not at that price. Like by the time the PS4 Pro came around, they had already dropped the price of the original PS4. He had the PS4 Slim. I don't remember how much that
Hmm.
costed. And if you wanted to buy a PS4 Pro, it was the same price as the original PS4 at launch, $400. This feels exorbitant, but at the same time, my PS5 works fine. So I mean, I'm not gonna get it. I think my max may have been like $500 to $600.
Yeah. Um, I'm pretty much right there. Like, when we talked about the PlayStation for Pro, uh, when the announcement was going to be, like, my stance was my PS5 works fine. I don't necessarily think I need a Pro. And even in our conversations in our Discord, it was, at least for me, it was very much so. I'm waiting to see what the marketing is going to be around this PS5 Pro and see if it's going to be, marketed towards me. And I think in a lot of ways it was. That
Hmm.
price tag is very prohibitive. And I think what happened with a lot of people is that a lot of people, told themselves, "Oh yeah, I'm part of the hardcore gaming audience. Like I play these games, like I enjoy these games. I'm online. I listen to maybe sometimes podcasts. If you do, you should check out our podcast, which you are listening to right now. So thank you and continue listening. We appreciate it. But like what happened with PlayStation dropping this price tag, it's like, no, you are not the ones we're marketing this for. We're
I don't
marketing this for
think that's indicative of being a hardcore gamer, though. I would more so
it's not.
say, yeah, this is for a specific niche.
Yeah. And like that's what I'm getting to is that there is, game gamers generally have a level of entitlement.
Mhm.
And this is just a situation where PlayStation just hit everybody in that entitlement, I don't know.
Feels.
Yeah, right. And it's just like, no, this is not, unfortunately, this isn't for you. And a lot of people felt, personally attacked by that. And I
They
I
felt
totally
like
get that.
Sony is coming in the house, hitting their current PS5 with a hammer and say, "Go buy this shit now." And
Exactly. Yeah.
that's not the
And a
case.
lot of people took it like that as like now that they have announced the PS5 Pro, the PS5 is completely just useless. It is going to be an inferior product and all the games going forward are going
Th
to be made
this
for the
is just
PS5
as
Pro.
incremental as the PS4 Pro was, though. It just
Exactly. Exactly.
I think it's really just the cost. If it costed $500 and they still had to buy the, disk drive, I think people may have been fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally think that the price was such a shock to most people that it just became this automatic reaction of like hate. And it's one of the things where it makes sense because we are at least in America, I'm pretty sure all around the world too, but in America, like we're dealing with like crazy inflation right now and like everything is
They're also
expensive.
dealing with it over in Japan because I
Oh,
think
true. Yeah, yeah.
did
So
we cover them raising the price of the base PS5 in Japan?
I
I feel
think
like
we
we
did. I'm not sure if we did, but if we didn't, yeah, they raised the prices of the base PS. Yeah, we did.
so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so unfortunately, the price of manufacturing things hasn't gone down like it normally would have. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're not willing to take they were already taking a hit on the PS5 to begin with at launch, and I think they just barely, maybe a year or two ago, started to break even or make a profit. And how do you explain to your shareholders that you're taking a God knows how much $100, multi-$100 loss when they don't have any software to support it? And I mean, people are saying they didn't announce any software, any games, where the games to announce with the PS5 Pro. They didn't announce any games with the PS4 Pro. We're having the same
Yep.
conversations that was had last time around.
Yep.
I think the
Yeah.
biggest issue is just the price this time.
Yeah. For sure. And like on top of all of that, there is the lost my train of thought. Lost my train of thought. I lost my
It'll
train of
come
thought.
back around. Just dip
It'll come
into
back.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Read the next.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just continue moving on. So let us
Mhm.
actually talk about the internet reaction, and the internet reaction was very negative for this.
Visceral.
So the first, yeah, so for the first story we have is PS5 Pro reveal is already Sony's most disliked console announcement. This comes to us from Push Square by way of Robert Ramsey. So essentially, this PS5 Pro announcement YouTube video is floating at 141,000 dislikes versus 90,000 likes at 2.9 million views. And again, it is a thing of a lot of those dislikes are, dedicated Sony people who are unhappy with this price tag. Some of that is just, Xbox people shitting on it for the fact that PlayStation has been up and now it's, did this thing. It's
I
just
think
like,
they would have been better off just not coming out with it. It wasn't needed. But go ahead.
no. Yeah, no, you're right. It wasn't needed. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. It wasn't needed. And it is the fact that the PS4 to PS4 Pro was a
Mhm.
thing that they found a level of success in. And they're like, all right, well, if that worked then, we're going to follow up this time again. And I think there was, of course, there was definitely thinking in this and like thinking behind it in terms of like, is this a bad move? This is a waste of money. People were just like, no, it's going to sell money. It's going to sell consoles.
You know
And
what? I think I see where their pricing came into play. I think they should have priced it at maybe $600.
well,
But I feel like people would have felt like they wasted their money buying a $500 base PS5 that you have to choose the modes between, performance or
mhm.
fidelity. And then here comes the Pro at the same price and it's able to do both. You would have felt like, I mean, for the people that don't understand economics, why couldn't you have given this to us in 2020 for the same price you're doing this in 2020?
So it's one of the things where like I think I don't think that mentality would have happened for I,
You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I feel like the $100 jump would have been fine, but I think because actually this point that I want to bring up,
Mm.
we're kind of jumping into price, but this is fine. The point I wanted to bring up was I actually heard this from another podcast. I was like, oh, I didn't even really think about that. The PS5 Pro is they have legitimate upgrades from the PS5
Mhm.
standard to the Pro, and that is $700. Also, it's $700 in the US, and it's pretty much more expensive everywhere else in the world, which sucks for everyone. I think in Australia, it's like a crazy amount, like marked
I
up.
think we're the biggest market, and then maybe
Yeah,
China and Japan.
yeah.
So,
So the Xbox now, their next console that's going to come out in October 15th is going to be a 2 terabyte version of the Xbox, and that is
mhm.
going to be $600. So that is a $100 addition to the Xbox Series X.
But
And the
all they're
only
doing is
difference
adding
is,
storage.
yeah, and we only adding 2 terabytes. The PS5 Pro also comes with 2 terabytes, and you're
Mhm.
also getting the people have nicknamed it the pisser, um, like PlayStation Super Sampling, like resolution or
Resolution.
something.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you get advanced ray tracing, and then there's the other thing of the big three. But we're gonna actually get into those stats as well. But
Mhm.
like, it's a thing of if you stack it against, like, I guess their competitor, which kind of sort of is Xbox. Now it's sort of a gray area, and I think that also leads to why PlayStation felt like they could charge $700 and not really feel the need to be competitive because they don't really have a console competitor now because Xbox is essentially releasing their games on the PlayStation platform.
Mhm.
So I think all of that math kind of worked into them feeling comfortable launching the PS5 Pro at this price tag, knowing they're going to get shit for it. And they should get shit for it because $700 is a lot of money, especially in this time. Um, just to go on to that, like just actually jump onto your comment before about the PS5 base models being
Mhm.
uh, marked up. The PS5 controllers are also going to be marked up by like $5. So they were like $75, not going to be $80. So essentially, everything is going to be more expensive except for the games, which it sucks. Like all this just kind of sucks. Just to go along with the whole pricing stuff.
No, the controllers were $70 or
the
65 for the white ones.
I thought there was okay. Well,
It
yeah,
depends
well,
on the color you're getting, but
yeah,
basically
yeah,
they have
yes,
a
yeah,
different range of prices.
right. And the DualSense Edge is
Me,
going to stay at 200.
I
What do you
just
say?
pay $5 for a refresh every time.
You're right.
Y'all better go get that Geek Squad protection on your DualSense controllers. Once that stick wears
No.
out, they'll just let you swap it out, and for
Yeah,
some reason they let you buy the warranty on the replacement as well for just $5 or whatever it is.
that's not bad.
Yeah, and if you
That's
want a
really not
different
bad.
color, they let you choose a different color. If it costs
Yeah.
more, you pay the difference.
Okay. Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, okay, so GameStop says it's giving $410 for PS5 trade-ins, but that will fall fast.
Oh
This
man,
comes to us from Forbes by way of, I believe, Paul Tassi, because
they're
Paul Tassi
rushing back to
is
bankruptcy again, huh?
right. Yeah. So essentially, um, GameStop posted a tweet showing a customer's receipt that he got 410 dollars back with promos, confirming that number says that it was up to that amount. But before you get excited, that already seems to be out of date as of 24 hours later.
Mhm.
So on the GameStop website, it's now saying that it will be paying up to $330 for PS5 Slim digital and $357 for the Slim disc version. Oh, also to mention that the PS5 Pro is not going to come with a disc drive. Um, I'm gonna finish this and talk about the disc drive thing and kind of
Mhm.
poo
Go ahead.
poo
Go
why
ahead.
everybody's
Go ahead.
upset on that. Yeah.
Mhm.
The same price remains for OG disc and digital consoles, which most people will no doubt own, but obviously that's less than $410. And yes, this is a store credit, which cash be, which cash being 120 or why is this written so poorly? Paul, what are
Oh,
you
because
doing?
Paul Tassi wrote it.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. And that max amount also requires you to be a pro member, which costs $25 a year, which sucks. Without that, you're getting $30 less, so it sort of cancels out. Anyways, GameStop is trying to get people to come into the stores by saying like, "Hey, we'll offer you money for your PS5 so you can get a PS5 Pro," but it's very, very like shady in terms of how they're doing it. So yeah, that's just annoying. But yeah, to the disk drive thing.
Yeah.
So people are upset that they're going to have to spend $80 and a stand for the PS5 Pro. The thing is, PlayStation has the data and it leaked, or at least they showed us the data, that a majority of their people playing the PlayStation is downloading the games. So
Mhm.
that's what led to them being like, all right, well, we'll just won't include the disc drive because a majority of people aren't actually buying disc anymore.
Blame DJ.
Yeah, you can blame me, man, because like I have it. I don't think I've put a disc into my PS5, and I have the disc version. But it is a thing of like, unfortunately, like this is the direction that gaming is going, and it sucks in terms of the preservation aspect. It sucks in terms of, man, I want to be able to uh show London the awesomeness of Gundam Battle Operations 2 when she gets the able to pilot a
Yeah.
Gundam. But like I know for a
But
fact I won't be able to do that because that game is online only. And once those servers go down, that's it. So I got to record as much video as possible and be like, hey, look, check this out. Remember this? This is cool. So that's my job. But yeah, it's one of those things where it sucks that we're gonna have to pay all this extra for the disk drive and stuff. But it's like they have the data and they kind of told us that like yeah no one's really buying physical anymore, so yeah, like that's that. um yeah, so let me just jump into essentially stats for the PS5 Pro in terms of what it offers against the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 standard.
mhm.
So this is coming from Moore's Law is dead. This is this is pulled from his YouTube video, and it's on Reddit. So PS5 Pro early testing leak. This is mid-September 2024. Oh, another thing to mention is that the Pisser, I keep saying Pisser, the PSSR tech, which is PlayStation's version of DLSS,
Yeah.
DLSS, yeah, and that's their like super sampling to basically make a, for example, 1080 picture look like 4K, and that's what PlayStation is doing as well, and that tech is essentially supposed to take a lower resolution image and make it look higher resolution. And I think a lot of people are kind of getting that confused because they're like, "Oh, these games are outputting at like a lower resolution. Like, why is that happening?" It's like that's the tech. That's what the technology is supposed to do. Anyways, so a developer source that consulted on previous PS5, PlayStation, or previous PS5 Pro leaks has sent the Moore's Law is Dead team early testing footage, and that compares one of their games running at the PS5 versus the PS5 Pro, which is a side by side frame rates displayed. So the base PS5 is running 1080p to 1600p dynamic resolution. The PS5 Pro is going from 1600p to 2160p dynamic resolution. That's without PSSR. So that already is the 2160 is like 4K.
Yeah.
So like that's strong. The for PS5, the mix of medium and high or high settings. So okay, so that is basically saying that they are blending in terms of all the settings versus the PS5 Pro is all the settings set to max quality.
Yeah.
So essentially, and then the next one is for PS5 runs at 45 to 60 for FPS, so which is frame rate. It's not locked to 60, and it occasionally drips or drops to about 45 frames per second. Whereas the PS5 Pro runs locked at 60 frames per second with no frame drops. And that's currently looking at testing 4K plus 120 hertz modes. So essentially, just taking that, it's like the PS5 is locked at 60 frames versus the sort of like PS5 is doing the best it can to get the 60 frames. So it's one of those things where,
Devs just need to optimize their damn
yeah, yeah. And
code.
like, we, it's one of the things where we as gamers yell about how, okay, I'm tired of having to pick between fidelity and performance, and I just want to play the game in one mode that's like the best mode it could possibly be. And the PS5 Pro is doing that. And it's
Yeah.
going to improve itself with the whole PSSR. Like that's going to be a thing that is
Mhm.
um, you know, propped up with AI, and AI is going to be running in the PS5 Pro. And all that stuff is just going to be made better and better and better as time goes on. But it's going to cost money. Like it's going to be
It's
expensive.
fine. Save your money for the PS6 and
Yeah.
GTA.
And that's another thing too. So I mean
I
that's pretty
highly doubt
much
GTA is gonna run like Cyberpunk at launch. Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah,
grant,
that's pretty
granted,
much
CD Projekt Red traded in their goodwill for some quick cash. I doubt Rockstar would do that, but
yeah, no. Rockstar is going to
yeah.
make sure their games run. So yeah, that's it for the PS5 Pro. Are we gonna get it? Obviously, the answer is no. The price is too high, but I can understand the outrage and I can understand why it's priced that much. And it's a thing of just like this is kind of is where it is. And if you have a PS5, keep playing that PS5. It's gonna work for you for a very long time. You don't have to worry about the PS5 Pro. People just yelling, man. All right. So the next part is sort of like I position it as a well, what's next? What's next for the PS5 Pro? What's next for PlayStation? And there is a rumored state of play. So now the state of play is rumored for September 19th, which is this week. And as of Monday, there has been no announcement for it. So maybe this doesn't happen this week, but I believe the this week is the actual anniversary of the PlayStation. So it kind of makes sense that it would happen this week. But things change all the time, so we don't know.
I mean, it's quite a
Funny,
possibility just be like tune in tomorrow because that's what they did for the PS5 Pro. So I mean,
that's a good point. That's a very good point. Funny enough, the person who leaked the whole date, and they actually had a blurb of what the description of the state of play was going to be, and it's basically saying that the it's going to be indies and third parties talking about games that are going to be made better with the PS5 Pro. But that account is suspended on Twitter, so I don't know what happened there. But we'll see what happens come the 19th. If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. If it does, we told you. Like and subscribe. You know what I mean? You know what? Comment below. Let us know your thoughts on the PS5 Pro. If you're gonna get it, or if you're not gonna get it. If you're waiting for a PS6, or if you're gonna get Xbox and just play Game Pass, so you can play Viva Pinata for the 18th time
sure.
or something. I don't know. Insert Jordan game. I don't know, man. Um, Number two. Oh, that was just one. PlayStation co-CEO has stated consoles will be at the core of their business. This comes to us from Insider Gaming by way of, I believe this is Mike Straw. Nope. Uh Sanchia Sa Sena? What
Oh
about
gosh.
that? So in her interview with Nikki Nikki via
Yeah.
VGC,
Yeah.
PlayStation co-CEO Hidekiya Nishino, I practiced that, discussed how PlayStation differs from other gaming platforms such as mobile and PC. Nishino noted that mobile games are still flooded with advertisements, and PCs can be difficult to set up. Not wrong about that one. However, the PlayStation console, players only need to turn them on to access their purchase content instantly. Nishino added that the PlayStation Store also provides players with an intuitive experience. That is bullshit.
I was about to say
That
that's
store
funny.
that store sucks. That store sucks. You need to fix that. When purchasing new games, as all content is laid out in an easy to understand manner.
To be fair, is there any digital storefront that doesn't suck? To be fair.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like it's 2024. We're going in 2025. Why is this not like? Why is this not fixed? Yeah. Okay. So the CEO then spoke about how they are increasing PlayStation's share of the overall gaming market or overall games market by developing content for PC. He states that there is no doubt that consoles will be at the core of our business, but by creating games for other platforms, PlayStation can reach broader ranges of customers. So there you go. He is basically confirming that we will be getting a PlayStation 6.
Which
That's
rolls
it.
right into the next story, actually.
Yes, it does. So yes, the next story, which is kind of a little sub thing, also from Mike Straw, also at Insider Gamer. PlayStation 6 will have AMD chip with backwards compatibility, it's claimed. So, according to a new report from Reuters, the new PS6 will once again feature an AMD chip in the system. The report says that Sony and Intel were in talks, but Intel lost the contract to AMD back in 2022.
They
That's a
wanted
while
too
ago.
much of a profit margin. They weren't willing to
Probably,
give
yeah.
up.
Yeah. The report claims that one of the disputes between Intel and Sony involves how much profit Intel would make from each processor. On top of the price disrupt, nope, dispute, backwards compatibility is said to be a major sticking point with Sony. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like they want to make sure that the PS6
Mm.
works seamlessly with PS5 because they don't want to lose that, and they understand that that's what lost Xbox essentially. Well, not backwards compatibility, but like the fact that people who buy these consoles build libraries in these consoles, and that's why they stay in these consoles. So yeah,
Mhm.
the PS6 is all but confirmed, I guess, and it's gonna be backwards compatible, which is awesome. That's what it should be. Um, Number 3. Nintendo Switch 2 is the official name of the next Nintendo console. Has entered full production. This is a rumor, though. This comes to us from WCCF Tech by way of where'd that thing go? Where'd that thing go? Where you at? Where you at? Francesco Di Mio. I need to figure out if that I'm saying that wrong. Right, because I know I'm saying that wrong. But we'll figure that out. So as reported on Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, Fami Board user called Backwards shared new information discovered on a Chinese forum from a supposed line worker regarding the console. This Chinese user revealed that the system has begun production with a quota of 1,000 units a day per worker, which sounds like how long is their work days? Yikes. Okay, the system is slightly larger than its predecessor, has a smaller bezel, and will come with black and white Joy-Con controllers, like their OLED version, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
black and white? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Additionally, the system shows a number 2 logo on the side, suggesting that Nintendo Switch 2 will indeed be the official name of the system. More information. I'm just going to skip ahead. The console's price is estimated to be $400, which is an increase over the launch price of the original Switch, but still a reasonable price compared to the PS5 Pro.
I mean, no,
I love
like
it. I love it.
I'm guessing it's almost equivalent. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the reason for this price jump is that reports reveal that the new system will be larger than its predecessor, featuring better battery life, some AI features, interesting, likely NVIDIA's DLSS support, and a dual screen design.
Oh boy.
Oh boy
So
is right.
so I just looked.
Yeah.
The Switch came out in 2017 for $300.
Mhm.
That's worth about 385 today. So
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes
not
sense. That makes
much
sense.
of a
Yeah. Yeah. So the dual screen design, like that, like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll see. Like of course, this is a rumor, so you have to take this all with a grain of salt.
yeah.
But the $400 price tag was rumored by a couple other people, so that seems about right. Um, there's also rumors that we're supposed to be getting some kind of announcement for the Switch 2 coming this month.
Yeah.
So it is a thing of hopefully we'll get that answer soon. I think the dual screen thing is what I'm kind of scratching my head, like literally scratching my head on in terms of the Switch 2 is a solid console, as solid as it can be. Why are you going to do dual screens? Like, where is the second screen going to go? Like,
Did you not have a DS?
I did, but like, honestly, I feel like that was probably my least like Game Boy like handheld. That it was just I always felt like I couldn't really always had to be like really like gentle with it because I feel like
Mhm.
the whole two screen thing was like I didn't want to break them because if I do, games are done essentially.
I mean, it was pretty durable, as
Yeah.
long as you're not straight up abusing it, but I hear you.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. Jeez. It's a little rough housing. You know what I mean? All right. Yes. Oh, geez. Okay. So I completely forgot where we were in this and be like, okay, hey guys, this is a bad transition, but it is what it is. Can you do us a favor? Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Let us know in the comments what is your feelings on Nintendo Switch 2? What is your feelings on the PlayStation 6 and the PlayStation 5 Pro? Are you going to get any of these things? Or are you just going to keep watching YouTube videos? I think you should keep watching YouTube videos, especially this one.
Mm.
All right. Number 4. Next Battlefield returns to modern day. Wants to be like Battlefield 3. This comes to us from Kotaku by way of that's not Kotaku. Oh, I done missed a PS5 Pro ad, but it's okay. Not ad, PS5 Pro thing. It's
Yeah.
just whatever. Yeah. Yeah, by Ethan Gotch. So essentially, the next Battlefield promises a return to the Call of Duty competitors' core after 2021's futuristic sequel drove many longtime fans away. You're a Battlefield fan, right?
I was.
You was, yeah. Because I remember Jordan's definitely a Battlefield fan, but I remember you talking about how you liked one. Did you play three? Was it three that you played?
3 and 4 was it, and then,
Okay.
2042, I didn't hate it,
Yeah.
but they were trying to ape Call of Duty real bad with, Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1, and I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. So the man in charge, longtime Respawn head Vince Zampella, cites
Sam
Battlefield 3
Panella.
and 4. Huh?
Sam
What do you say?
Panella.
Sam? Oh. Cites Battlefield 3 and 4 as the peak of the series that currently untitled Battlefield 6 will be chasing. So, oh, I don't know why I thought, okay, I had a dumb moment there. I was like, Vince Zampella is EA. Yeah, so is Battlefield. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, this is a quote from Zampella. I mean, if you look back at the peak or the pinnacle of Battlefield, it's that Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 era where everything was modern. He said in a new interview with IGN. And I think we have to get back to that, to the core of what Battlefield is, and do that amazingly well. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Which I agree. I think even now in this like era, like Call of Duty really lacks that competitor. And I
Yeah.
think if they had that competitor, that would, I think if they had a competitor in the modern or the re-release of Modern Warfare 2 and 3, those games would probably look a little different. Probably have a bit.
They the Battlefield EA is always trying to chase some trend, it feels like, after 3 and 4 when they could have just, I'm not gonna say stick to the roots. You don't wanna be stagnant, but
Yeah.
it always felt they were chasing something. They
Yeah.
had a Battlefield Hardline, which was
Hmm.
meh. I think people want a Bad Company 3, like, wait, did they have Bad Company 3?
I think I think they want a Bad Company sequel.
Yeah,
I think that's the easiest way of saying that they will, because I know
yeah.
for a fact that has been one of like Jordan's like taglines. Like he just wants a Bad Company sequel. Like, yeah, but like, yeah, it is a thing of like I think having a competitor for Call of Duty is
Mhm.
something that is necessary, and I think Battlefield would be the essentially the only real contender in that they are doing similar things to Call of Duty, but it is very much so different in terms of destructibility and that being like a big thing for them. But yeah, as you said, Battlefield 2042 didn't work well and it pulled a lot of people away. So this new Battlefield, it is not there's no release date for it and there's no official title for it. So really and truly you're just calling it Battlefield
Mm.
6 because that essentially what the number is. Um yeah, so I'm gonna continue with this interview from Zampella. I don't know what the rationale was, but for me, it's like the team tried something new. He's talking about Battlefield 2042.
Mhm.
He said, but for me, it's like the team tried something new. You have to applaud that effort. Not everybody liked it, but you got to try things. It didn't work. It didn't fit. Specialists will not be coming back. So classes are kind of at the core of Battlefield, and we're going back to that. Um, so yeah, it's interesting to see that they are actually like giving Battlefield 6 another try. I think that's a good idea. I guess we'll probably see something from this come next year, hopefully sooner than later, but whenever they have the stuff developed, so we'll see. Number 5, Ubisoft being pressured to go private as share prices continue to fall. This comes to us from Insider Gaming by way of Mike Straw. So, in a publicly released letter, AJ Investments is saying that Ubisoft is an undervalued company and should be worth up to 40 to 45 euros per share. The hedge fund says it has concerns that the future of Ubisoft as well as its current management. And this is a quote. Ubisoft at current state is mismanaged and shareholders are hostage to Guillemot family members and Tencent who takes advantage of them.
Mm.
Yikes. The letter said, management is focused on pleasing investors with beating quarterly results and not focused on long-term strategy to provide exceptional experience for the gamers. True. Our company has extensive knowledge about the gaming industry, and we're longtime shareholders in Activision Blizzard. And we started our Ubisoft position a couple weeks ago and still adding to it. Interesting. Longtime shareholders of Activision Blizzard is like, okay. Is that what you want Ubisoft to be, like that kind of company? Anyways, the company suggests that the company goes private with Tencent as a significant partner and shareholder. Wait a minute. Who is AJ Investments? Are they Chinese owned? like, in addition to that, it wants Ubisoft to implement a comprehensive cost reduction program, means firing people, and optimize staffing levels to be more comparable to industry leaders, to be more comparable with industry leaders. So basically, this AJ investment is basically telling or wanting Ubisoft to completely restructure themselves and go private, become smaller, essentially, become more owned by Tencent, and I guess build out a plan. I think I agree with some of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Tencent thing, I think that's really kind of iffy. Going private, I think, is fine. I find it kind of weird when the publishers are like public, and it's like, okay, well, when you're public, your priorities are those shareholders and not the consumers. And I think that's where this industry has kind of lost itself a bit in terms of how much money is generating in the chase for that like money. So yeah. Um you got anything to say about this?
Um, nah, man. Just I don't know. I don't know what Ubisoft can do. They're relying on their strong franchises, I get, because I mean, every new thing that they've tried to put out, I think, has faltered. They're in
Yeah.
a rough
Like
spot, and creativity is down.
Exafine is not doing well. Star Wars Outlaws is a good game. And I think the issue is that Ubisoft doesn't have a, this could be my ignorance because I'm not that big of a Ubisoft gamer, but Ubisoft doesn't have a like top tier developer. Like most of their games are strong sevens, which is
Yeah.
fine, but it's not, they're not shaking the ground with their games. And I think they need some kind of developer that they can prop up as their like top tier developer that they can, drum around like marketing and like hype and
The
stuff and like
strongest stuff that they have isn't AAA apart from Assassin's Creed at this point. It's like Prince of Persia, I think, got good reviews.
right.
They got
Yeah.
X Defiant, they got Avatar, they got Skull and Bones, Just Dance. That ain't selling as hot. And music games aren't doing as hot as they used to be. They shut
Yeah.
down the crew. They're just having a
Yeah.
rough go of it.
Yeah. But that's why I think like the restructuring thing could be good, but again, that means that a lot of people will lose their jobs, and that part just really sucks. So
Mhm.
yeah, they're in a rock and a hard place right now. So yeah, so that's it for the bigger stuff. Let us jump into the quick hits, then we can jump into the games or what we've been playing. Number 6, Tony Hawk claims it is talking to Activision again.
Yay.
So this comes to us from VGC. Very quickly, by way of Jordan Miller. So very quickly, we don't know what these talks are. This could be, I think best case scenario, this could be some kind of remake of, I guess what, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3?
So they were
Because
supposed to remake 3 and 4 the same way
Three
they
and
did
four, yeah.
1 and 2. They were supposed to glom that together, but unfortunately, I don't know if it was sales that sucked or whatever, but
Hmm.
that was rough.
Yeah. So this the best case scenario, this could be so okay. There's actually a quote. Uh Tony Hawk claimed in 2022 that a second collection of remaking Fallen Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 plus 2 was planned until Vicarious Visions was absorbed into
Ah,
Activision
that's what
entirely.
happened,
That's what happened. Yeah.
and they didn't
That
trust
was the
anybody
plan.
else to make it.
Yeah. So that was a plan even up until the release date of 1 plus 2. Hawk said, we were doing 3 and 4, and then Vicarious got kind of absorbed and they were looking for other developers and it was over. So, best case scenario, this could be him reigniting that conversation to get 3 plus 4,
Mhm.
in the works to get out, which would be awesome.
Apparently, the last one, 1 and 2, was the fastest selling game in the franchise, selling 1,000,000 copies in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, it sold super well. It's just that it was under Activision, and Activision only cared about Call of Duty. So
Mm,
anything else that wasn't Call of Duty was just a waste of time for them. So yeah, Microsoft, this could be a really big win for them if they like actually listen to Tony Hawk and invest money into this and make this a thing. That'd be really cool. Microsoft do it. But that's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, it could be like we're gonna put out music or something. So it's one of those things where be cautiously optimistic. Don't
yeah.
jump over the moon expecting something. Number 7, Overwatch 2 is coming to Xbox Game Pass. That's cool. That's awesome. I kind of thought that this was already a thing like a while ago, so
They must
it
be
was surprising to
getting
me.
free things.
Yeah, so when you link your accounts, you'll be getting a bunch of like free skins and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and if you're playing Overwatch and you have Xbox, might as well. Like, so yeah, yeah. If you want more, learn more about that, you can just dig into it. I don't really have the time to really get into that. Number 8, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 to skip campaign early access. This comes to us from IGN. Again, I mean, I guess this is cool. I don't really knew what the downsides to the early access of the campaign other than like people like leaking stuff online.
Yeah.
But it was one of the things where you play the campaign, you got it over, and then when the actual servers kick up, you jump on multiplayer because that's people. A lot of people are going to just skip the campaign regardless of how good it is and just jump to multiplayer because that's what just people do. But yeah, I mean, so everyone's gonna be able to, I guess, play the campaign at the same time. So that's cool. More power to them. I don't really got too much to say about that. You got anything?
Nah.
Okay. All right. Well, that has been it for the gaming news of this week. Now let us jump into what we've been playing. Sean and I have been playing. Well, we played Astrobot. We
Yep.
beat Astrobot, and we
Mhm.
both platinum Astrobot. Sean, what is your impressions? What is your feelings on Astrobot now that you've platinum it?
We need to everybody needs to play it. I miss this era of gaming where everything just felt,
Yeah.
just fun, just pure fun.
Yes. Yes. That is
There's
the
no other way to describe it.
exactly. That is the best way to put Astrobot. Is it is absolutely a delight of a game to play. Like there was multiple times where I was just smiling from ear to ear and just like, oh, this is so much fun. Like this is the kind of stress that you would have in Astrobot is akin to a stress you would have in Mario, where it's like, okay, I gotta make these jumps, but it's not like I'm getting my socks rocked by this boss guy because he's just like comboing me or whatever. It's just, okay,
Yeah.
I just need to make this jump. Let me make this jump. I need to dodge this thing. Let me dodge this thing. And yeah, like I think I don't want to. You can continue going. I don't want to steal your.
Um, I mean, I don't have a lot to say about the game. This is
Mm,
basically Mario Galaxy, but PlayStation Edition.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like I think the actual PlayStation integration is so awesome. I don't. should we spoil stuff? I don't know if is it worth spoiling?
Nah, I wouldn't
Okay.
spoil things.
Okay. Okay. We won't spoil. Yeah, I think well, what we've seen Uncharted, we've seen God of War. I'm gonna go ahead and just spoil the first one because we kind of talked about it. So like
Mhm.
the first PlayStation like integrated level that you play is Ape Escape. And that was a franchise that everyone kind of yelled, "Oh, we wanted to come back, we want to come back." And I think just the formula of Astrobot,
Yeah.
this is the new Ape Escape, and the
Mm,
apes are the bots. And it's like, I think this is perfect. I don't think Ape Escape needs to come back. I think
yes,
if
it
Ape
does.
Escape came back, it'd be kind of a weird, like, it would create just a weird comparison against Astrobot. I don't think this needed. And I think Astrobot does a great job of being Ape Escape with, a mix of Mario in terms of you getting these abilities and doing these things.
Nah. I disagree. Did you play all the Ape Escape, sir?
I played a little bit. I didn't really.
No, it's not the same. This is just another game in a similar genre. That's like saying
Well,
God of
yes.
War and Black Myth Wukong don't need to exist because one is similar, like
Yeah, yeah. I mean Ape Escape in the way of the goal of Ape Escape is to collect the monkeys, right?
yeah, but they were actively running away from you.
Yeah, right, right, right.
These are
Okay,
just
that's true. That's true.
that was the challenge in the game, and
Right.
it had an actual
Huh,
story. Like go back and play one, sir.
no. I I think I had issue with the actual controls because the controls
Because
were just weird to me.
no, you just suck ass at gaming.
Okay.
If it doesn't kowtow to your weird ass preferences for controls, you just can't play it.
It ain't my fault. People got dumb brains. Anyways, yeah, back to Astrobot. I think um I
Yeah.
think this game, like Team Asobi just did a great job with taking all of, not even all, taking a good portion of, PlayStation hits, PlayStation like avatars, characters, and putting them into Astrobot in like a like fun and like kooky way. Like it turns out that the characters that you find, the PlayStation characters that you find in the worlds are
Mhm.
in the worlds for like a particular reason or something. So like the Solid Snake that you find him in the like snow area, and
Yeah.
apparently that's because of like Shadow Moses, and that was during winter or whatever, so there's snow there, so that's
Mm.
why they connected him into that. So like there's a level of thought that is going into each of these characters and why they appear where they appear, and it's just like this game is amazing. Like it's one of those things where I played, I got
Mhm.
to the end, I beat it, and I was like, dang, like even the ending is just so PlayStation themed that it's just like, oh, I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. Oh man, that's so cool. And it's just it is a love letter to anyone who grew up on PlayStation, you
Yeah.
know, as a gamer. And it's a thing of even if you fell off a certain period, there's going to be something in this game for you that's going to be like, oh, that's a nostalgia hit for me. And like, yeah, they just did an amazing job. I was just super impressed with the game all the way through. Like I mean, what would you rate the game?
Um, I would give this a 9 out of 10, and I'm not sure what would make it a 10 out of 10, but I know it's not there. I know it's something good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at a 9 out of 10 as well. And I think for me, the thing that would make it a 10 out of 10, if and I think the only comparison I can make is like if this game had a Bowser.
Mm,
I feel like and I think the enemies themselves are really unique, but the final enemy is very much so like very generic in a way of just like I feel like I will remember the boss battles, but I won't remember the last boss enemy that you fight. I'll remember getting up to him and
Mm.
doing all the crazy stuff to get to him. That stuff was awesome. But the actual character is just like there's not too much to him. He's just a
Not
generic like green alien kind of thing.
yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, Astrobot is just oof, so good, so good. Is there anything else? Is there anything else I want to say? I don't know. I don't think so. If it comes to me, we'll talk about it later on. But oh, like, okay, well, I guess the conversation is like, is Astrobot your game of the year?
Oh man. I would say it's in my top 5.
Yeah.
I still gotta beat Rebirth. That game is still amazing.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people just ignored it at first, like I did. Black Myth Wukong is up there. I've been saying this for weeks. Like a Dragon is suffering
Mhm.
from recency bias, but it's up there on my list. I will say that.
Yeah. 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 Like it's like Astrobot was legitimately my game of the year until I went back to Black Myth. I'm like, oh, this game just like it just feels so good. So like, yeah, Astrobot is definitely going to be in my top 5 for the year for sure. But as it can be my game of the year, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think for me, I love the Astrobot as much as I can, and it's just the fact that I like platformers, but platformers aren't.
That's not your thing.
Yeah, it's not where my soul is. So it's just
And
like
that's
I
fine.
can really appreciate Astrobot, and I really enjoy the game, but it's just like this is a great game, but it's not hitting even with the PlayStation nostalgia stuff. It's like that stuff is awesome, but it's still just not like doing that like last bit of damage to really get
Yeah.
me into the. I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, um, and then you played this game called Pagan. Peglin.
Yes, Peglin. So this was a game that was announced during the last Nintendo Direct, and I saw that, oh, they also have it for
Oh,
mobile. Um, it is a roguelike pachinko type game. And
what?
pachinko, you drop the ball from the
Yeah,
top.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
So, I mean, it looked fun. I'm playing it. It's interesting. It's holding my attention. It has strategies there. You can have different builds you can make.
You
Um,
got builds in this game?
yeah, because you have different modifiers for your different balls. You get different balls to drop from the top. You have your basic ones and you have boulders. You got some with spikes. You got some that have lightning. It'll explode things. And they a bunch of different modifiers in this game, and it's interesting. It's on mobile, it's on Switch. Check it out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is it? So I guess you just played until you. Oh, I put the
Um.
trailer up on our thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
You
Okay.
have enemies that you're doing damage to when you're
Oh,
hitting the pegs because they each have a number
yeah.
value. You have a
I see.
modifier. You can upgrade your balls that you drop into the maze, into the
Candy now.
level. Yeah.
Hmm,
Shut up.
interesting. Hmm. Huh. All right. That's pretty cool. Okay. Um, and then I'll just finish off by saying, so after I beat Astrobot, I went back to Black Myth, and I am on chapter 6.
Mm.
And this is a year that I got to play and beat Dragon's Dogma 2. And like right now, I'm like Black Myth is my game of the year. Like chapter 6, I will say, going from chapter 1 to chapter 6, which is,
Yeah.
progressing through the story, there is a thing of chapter 1 is so guided, and then chapter 2 becomes less guided, chapter 3 is less guided, chapter 4 is less guided, and chapter 5 also less guided. And then chapter 6 is like it's completely open. And it's a thing
Oh.
of yeah, it's literally a thing of like I stepped out into this world and I was like, I I don't know where I'm supposed to go. So I started flying around and there
Mm,
is some weird shit in chapter 6, and I was just like weird to the point where it kind of like I got like a jump scare because I was just like, I don't know why is this thing even here? Like, what is happening? So it's a thing of I was exploring stuff and I got to a part of the story
yeah.
where, I got there before the triggers was supposed to like get me there kind of thing. And I got frustrated with myself because I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with this. Like, what is happening here? And the
Mhm.
thing of like, I like literally like paused the game, loaded up YouTube, was like, chapter 6, what are you supposed to do? And literally the first thing it says is you hear lightning, follow the lightning. And I'm like, oh, duh. Yeah, I can hear the lightning all over there. And I just completely just disregarded. I was like, whatever that is, I'll find that later. First, I'm going to explore. So it was a frustration that I set upon myself because I wanted to explore the stuff versus figuring out what was the loudest thing in the stage first. And it's like, something like that I really, really appreciate about this game because it is a thing of like, you've played enough of this game to figure out how we want to communicate these things to you. And it's up to you to just read that stuff and literally just explore and investigate and figure that stuff out. And I just did what I normally do, which was I explore the edges first and then I do the like points of interest.
Mm,
So, yeah. And on top of that, like I'm actually gonna put up a short to this because I got to a boss fight that I just happened to see on some like short on it on YouTube. I'm just like, oh, that looks interesting. And I just kind of stumbled upon it and it was hilarious because I was not ready for it and I was too high in the sky. So things went bad. So
I
yeah,
believe
I so what?
I say I believe in you.
Oh, I beat him. I beat him. It actually turned out to not be that difficult. It was just more imposing than anything. So yeah, I'm essentially, I guess, at the end of my first run because apparently New Game Plus things change and then things change more. New Game Plus 2 and 3 and
Yeah.
4 and 7. So apparently this game's gonna be very interesting. Yeah, so I'm fighting, I guess spoilers, I'm fighting Wukong, which who I thought I was, but things happen.
Mm,
Yeah, man. Game continues to be great. The combat I thoroughly enjoy. There's a lot of people talking about like, at least saying like, oh, the one thing that annoys me is like I feel like I'm doing the same combos over and over again. And I'm like, that's an action RPG. Like, wait, what? Like what game are you trying to compare this with? Because you get a combo and you do the combo. Like you can switch your stance and that will dictate a different like combo. But
yeah.
like, yeah, it was just a weird like critique that a lot of people are kind of throwing out there and kind of feels like, oh, are you just kind of just saying this stuff just to be another voice? And anyways, whatever. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Are you plan on jumping back into Wukong?
Yeah, just gotta find a motivation. Of course,
Yeah,
like you said, it's not guided, so you jump back in, it's like, what was I doing again?
yeah.
That's where I'm at.
And that's actually why I wanted to like jump in and like really finish it because I knew I was close to the end. And also Plucky Squire comes out tomorrow for
Yeah.
PS Plus Extra and Premium people. So I definitely plan on jumping into that. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I kind of get this thing done. And I don't know if it's gonna happen tonight, man, because I'm getting my butt rocked by Hookah.
Really too.
Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's all the news and games that we have to talk about for you for this week. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Press X Start Gamers Digest. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you are listening, we appreciate you leaving us a review on Spotify or whatever podcast service you're using, Apple Music, whatever. You just let us know that you left a review and we read it. And we appreciate it. We'll also clap too.
Hmm.
Yes. Um, yeah, and if you can join our conversations in our Discord at presssexnumber2start.com/discord. Until next time, that's next week. We'll definitely be talking about the Plucky Squire because that is going to be out for us, and we'll be able to play that. Maybe there'll be a state of play that we'll talk about. Maybe we'll get an announcement for a Switch 2. I don't know. All this stuff is up in the air. So yeah, we'll see. Take care. Peace out.
Boopy doopy doopy doop boopy doop boopy doop boop.
Okay.
That's episode 39.
37.
Oh. You might be right. That's 37. Boop doop boop doop boop doop boop doop boop boop doop boop.
And the stream.
Boop doop boop doop boop doop boop doop boop.